My name is Kwabena Chenche. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsdesk. Let's start off with that very situation yesterday at the Public Accounts Committee, and it is set to invite the Ghana Football Association to appear before it and respond to why it has failed to pay monies owed to the Foreign Affairs Ministry since 2011. Now, this comes after the 2011 to 2013 Auditor General's report highlighted instances of misappropriation of thousands of Ghana cedis in foreign missions and departments under the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Chairman of the committee, Kweku Ajimamenu, who was unhappy about the development, has asked the ministry to go a step further to retrieve all the monies misappropriated.
The Kinshasa mission in 2011 paid 2 cooks to assist in culinary arrangement for the Black Stars in their match against Brazzaville. They were paid an amount of $1,242.74 CS ago. Several letters written to the Ghana Football Association to get them to pay has yielded no result.
What happens is that if you recruit people externally, they don't know whether the money is owed by the GFA or it's owed by the mission. As far as they are concerned, they've performed a service and they expect to be paid. If we do not step in to make the payment as the mission, nobody wants to see a headline in the newspapers in that country, 2 cooks owed money by the government of Ghana for Ghana Black Stars feeding arrangements. So we do it and we expect the organizations to refund to us.
Can she tell us the reasons for not heeding to the letters that they've written to the GFA, or what type of response?
Madam, what you do is that the committee will take it upon itself to invite GFA here. Colleagues, with your indulgence, if you agree to that, that will feature in the recommendation. So we'll bring GFA.
Chairman of the committee is also urging the Foreign Affairs Minister to take legal action against the Ghanaian agent, Isaac Adomako, for failing to pay up $5,839.87 for the repatriation of 8 stranded Ghanaians in Tehran in 2013 after a failed football contract. The matter has been referred to the Attorney General's Department for advice, but the committee says that is not enough.
But this borders on criminality. So why didn't you report the matter to the police? Now we can't find him. Is that not correct? Adomako have been missions to attempt to locate Mr. Adomako have been unsuccessful. They want the Attorney General rather to go and chase Mr. Adomako.
Because Mr. Adomako is in Ghana.
So report to the police. You take Ghanaians to go and give a job outside. They go, the friend is backfired. You have deceived them. And we end up, because we didn't want Ghanaians to suffer unnecessarily outside. That is a good decision you made, and spend money on their behalf. You mean let the man arrive. He should have been picked up.
Well, there's no
so
statute.
Our suggestion, colleagues, with your indulgence, if it's acceptable, please cause the man's arrest and withdraw what is the Attorney General's office. Let the police handle the matter.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister says it has initiated steps to retrieve some 5,000 euros from a retired former consular officer at the Ghana missions in Paris, France. The report revealed that over 14,000 consular fee at the Paris mission has not been accounted for. The consular officer, who is now retired, Elizabeth Morvey, has been implicated and has so far been made to refund 9,276.51 euros. The sector minister, Hannah Tete, said the ministry has contacted the Attorney General for direction on legal processes to take in retrieving the remaining 5,133.49 euros.
Well, the Ghana Football Association has, however, denied claims by the Foreign Affairs Ministry that it has failed to refund over $1,000 paid to cooks who catered for the Black Stars for their Brazzaville match in 2011. Sector Minister Hannah Tete said at that Public Accounts Committee sitting yesterday that the minister paid the cooks after the GFA had failed to do so. She said several requests to get the money from the GFA proved futile. However, a spokesperson for the GFA, Ibrahim Sanidara, has told Joy News the request for refund should have been directed to the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Checks within the finance department of the Federation shows that we don't recognize it. We've hardly heard about it. The key or the sticking point is that expenses on the national team are not borne by the Ghana Football Association. It is the Ministry of Youth and Sport. In cases like this, I would have thought that the right channel is the Ministry for Youth and Sport. Now, as a matter of fact, the GFA does not handle any money belonging to any of the national teams. The money payments for national teams in Ghana are paid to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. They have an accountant that travels with the team and makes all payments.
Well, away from that issue, let's now head to the northern parts of the country, and they have vowed not to fight again. After years of protracted chieftaincy conflicts, scores died and hundreds fled to neighboring Togo after they were attacked and their houses burnt. Following a Joy News documentary, Brothers at War, which highlighted the cost of that conflict, the people of Bunkpurugu have now resolved to end the hostilities and live peacefully. They are seeking assistance to rebuild their houses. Seth Kwamboating has just returned from Bunkpurugu and is joining me now in studio with updates on what he's gathered so far at Bunkpurugu. Seth, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And I might say Seth is the reigning journalist of the year right here in the country. We're hoping he wins another one this year anyway. But Seth, let's talk about what you gathered when you visited Bunkpurugu. What's the situation now?
Well, the place is very peaceful now. You know, the first time I went there, I could feel that there was tension there, but I got there this time around and the people were freely moving about. Interestingly, the two gates, the Jamon and Jaffo gate, now be able to cross to the other side to greet their colleagues or their relatives, and it's interesting how they have all come together to ensure that the peace they have now continues. They have vowed that never again are they going to fight. And the chief was particularly happy with Joy News because he tells us that what we did was what triggered the peace process. So let's listen to what he told me when I went there.
Right. News, they did well. Through them, let God send people to us and then bring us together. Joy News, they came from Accra to Bunkpurugu. How many miles from Accra to Bunkpurugu? But they came because of this problem. When they heard it, it was not a good thing for them. In fact, it's a big embarrassment for us. We pray that the way it stopped, God should continue to bury it and don't let it come out again. We pray to God.
And indeed, that was the chief doing an interaction there with Joy News' Seth Kwamboating. Seth, I know you've also been speaking to some of the leaders, particularly the Jamon leader.
The Jamon leader, yes, that is Elisha Na, and he's also happy, and they have also told their people that they are not going to fight again. You know, for the first time, the youth in Bunkpurugu managed to bring the two leaders together and the factions together. They did this by first visiting sub-chiefs in the various communities. You know, they are other stakeholders who sit where they are and feel all the conflict. So the youth were able to identify them. They moved to them and told them that now we are tired of the conflict. So please give peace a chance. So we are starting with you. We are talking to you. From your place, we shall be visiting our two leaders and speak to them as well. So they started from there, and Elisha Na tells me they have a peace of mind now. But what they want now to enable those who fled Bunkpurugu come back is to get support to rebuild their homes. You know, their homes got burnt. So in security studies, they've reached where we call post-conflict reconstruction. They have to reconstruct the town, and they need support from all of us. Until they do this, until we all help them achieve this, we cannot talk of total peace there, because those who fled would have to come back, and they need their homes to enable them come back. Sure. And they have to do what we call blood burial. The blood burial, you can't sit elsewhere, come and do it and go back. Here, there's the time they kill animals. They cut them into two and use the blood to appease the gods, you understand, to tell them that they are not going to fight again. And with this particular one, if you dare fight, you'll be killed by the gods. So they have to do this, and they need support to rebuild their homes first, to enable all those who fled to come back to do this. So let's listen to Elisha now, what he told me.
Okay.
When we came for the peace talk, they questioned Jamong family, and I was the spokesperson. I told them plain that we need peace because so many things have destroyed. And as we need peace, it is something that we have come together, and it is something that we have to talk to friends, we have to talk to government, we have to talk to the NGOs that we know, so that even our colleagues who are around us to help. Because if you are building peace, it needs friends to come in to support, and peace will build totally. So as you are asking me about the outsiders, really, we are pleading that first it wasn't like this. And as at that time, you can call a friend and tell a friend that I need support from you. But now we are free. We come together. I can even sit with the chief so that any plan at all, we plan together. That was why you even see us, or you saw us when we were in the field, and we let everybody to understand. So I also believe that those who are outside it, if they can support, because so many houses are destroyed.
So what kind of support are you talking about?
Yeah, the support I'm talking about is, as at this time, this old men like this sitting down, since this thing occurred, they never sleep in their houses. Look at them sitting, 9 of them in one room. You can see that it is something that is worrying them because they are old. They need to stretch themselves the way that they want, but they can't do. And you know, old men like this, they need a comfortable place to stay. So the support we need, because the other time I told everybody that the support we need, we have got 4 old men who were having zinc houses, and it has destroyed. And I prayed to the DC and the concerned youth in town to try their best to let them have a roofing materials so that they can use that one to roof their houses and stay there.
Right, so that was the leader of the Jamong faction there, Elisha Na, in an interview with journalist Seth Kwamboatin, who is still here with me in studio, telling us a lot more about what he's gathered after his latest visit to Bunkprugu. So, Seth, again, one interesting thing, quite a number of people left the town, they fled. I know this conflict generated a lot of issues and it brought chaos there. Yeah. Let's look at education and whether or not things have returned to normalcy. I know, for instance, that the exams are going on, the WASI is going on. Are people even able to?
Education was seriously affected in Bunkpurugu. You know, a number of teachers left and they were unwilling to come back. And there was no way students could even wake up at dawn to go and learn because they weren't sure where the next billet will come from. So they lived in fear. But for now, they tell me they have the peace of mind to study now. And you know, they are part of those writing exam. In the past, their seniors couldn't write the exam in Bunkpurugu. You know, when Boko they were fighting, the same thing happened. They had to move them to another location to write the exam. So they feared that would happen. But thanks be to God that didn't happen this time around. There's peace there, so they have the peace of mind to study, write the exam. So let's listen to the students as well.
That's fine.
We are expecting a marvelous result, a wonderful one, because our past seniors, most of them couldn't make it. I learned that only 2 people results can go to school, and ours, we are expecting that we'll do a wonderful work in it. But actually, we've not been able to cover a lot of syllables because of the situation that was in town when we're going home. We've not covered a lot, but we pray to God that we'll make it. Since we can get up in the midnight and go to class at any time, you have a peaceful mind to go to class.
Going forward, what are your expectations from the elders?
We expect that they come together as never before. They start doing everything together, eating from each other's houses, moving together and doing everything together. And what we are told is that the case is not all that solved, so we are pleading that if there are other issues left, they should come amicably solve that issue so that we will have 100% peace in the town here.
Okay, so I still have Seth Kwamboatin here with me now. He's going to wrap up on this very one. So Seth, let's look ahead to great job done Fantastic work done, and we've seen results. What next?
Now we are looking forward to getting help from people to enable them reconstruct Bunkprugu. They need roofing sheets, so if you're watching us and you can offer just one, we'll add. They need 400 packets of roofing sheets, and we have to help them because they are about doing this blood burial, and I can assure you, after blood burial, you dare not fight. So they will then fight again. So we all have to help them rebuild Bunkprugu, because if they start fighting, it affects us. Yeah. Look at the number of security men we have in Bunkprugu trying to keep peace there. Yeah.
Right. Seth, many thanks for your time on News this morning. That's Seth Kwamboateng. Like I said, he's the reigning journalist of the year here in the country. We are hoping he wins once more and brings us a lot more joy here at Joy News. But let's still stay with some issues of chaos and violence, but this time round to the Ashanti region, where some residents of Agogo are demonstrating this morning over the continuous activities of nomadic herdsmen in the area. They accuse government of showing inadequate commitment to dealing with the problem. Previous demonstrations and a court order have failed to push the herdsmen out. Now, a meeting yesterday between the Agogo Youth Association, the Agogo Worldwide Association, with the local council churches failed to avert the demonstration. The nomads have been accused of killings and destroying farms of indigents. Now, let's go on to the phone lines and speak to Ohiming Teria, who is we do not have Ohiming Teria on the line now, but let's now speak to spokesperson for the Agogo Worldwide Citizens Association, Sam Enyan Kusi, who is with the demonstrators as I speak to you, and is joining us over the phone lines now. So, Mr. Kusi, good morning. Many thanks for your time on News Desk. Hello, sir.
What's going on?
Mr. Kusi, good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. So, Mr. Kusi cannot hear me there. He's with the demonstrators. He's part of the Agogo Worldwide Association members there. But let's now speak to our correspondent, Ohiming Teria, who is also with the demonstrators or the protesters. He's also joining us live now over the phone with an update on the situation there. Ohiming, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So, what's the situation on the ground?
Yes, as we speak now, the demonstrations have come to an end. Just as we converge on the park, waiting for addresses to the MP for the area, Kojoban Ajimai, just addressed the crowd. And just as he was about to finish his the presentation, the rains just stepped in. So the demonstrators have dispersed as we speak now. And it's been raining, but when I spoke to some residents who took part in today's exercise, they believe that indeed this has been a divine lesson to their efforts to ensure that the nomadic herdsmen are driven out of their land, to give them the peace of mind to live and also to farm on their own land. So we had information they were going to present a petition today. Have they done that already? And what more? After presenting a petition, what more? Unfortunately, there was no room for presentation of petition or whatever. But the leadership of the Agogoma Ekuro and the Agogo Worldwide Association, as well as the Agogo Youth Association and the traditional authorities and some opinion leaders have been addressing the demonstrators. So that is the program for now. But speaking to Mr. Kojoban Ajima, he did indicate that indeed about 50 of the residents have been killed so far by nomadic herdsmen, and they believe that government has been insensitive to the plight of the residents of Agogo. For instance, he mentioned the fact that about between 30 and 40 peace officers, security officers are sent to Agogo with only one patrol vehicle. That actually impedes the work of the security officers. So we believe that beyond today's demonstration, residents will also visit the president and engage him one-on-one to tell him that indeed if he's not aware of the killings, if not aware of the maimings that are happening here in Agogo, they want to meet him one-on-one and tell him what has been happening here. And Mr. Usubempa, who is also one of the natives of Agogo, has also been addressing the demonstrators, and he believes that indeed if government, which has a sovereign right to protect its citizens, can't do that, then the citizens should be given the opportunity to protect themselves. And so after the meeting with the president, they expect that they themselves would take the commanding lead in protecting themselves, and that could also lead to chaos in this area. So he believes that indeed the security agencies via the government be up and doing to protect its citizens.
Right. But, I mean, you've mentioned a couple of names, quite some notable persons in the community. Any more familiar names?
Yes, there are lawyers from this area who were built to address the gathering. For instance, the Nanahima, or the Queen Mother of Agogo, I'm told was part of today's demonstrations, and she was expected to address the crowd, but unfortunately, because of the rain, that part of the program has been postponed. But I still see some residents who are still, in the rain, demonstration that indeed they want to see an end to this menace. And beyond that, I've also seen the clergy, some are in their castles taking part in today's demonstration. So it tells you the kind of enthusiasm that the people of Agogo attach to today's exercise. They want to see an end to their problem. They don't want to see a situation where the farmers cannot go to their farms to farm. Now it's raining. Now is the farming season. But they told me that they can't go to the farm. Even the chief farmer had, when he mounted the podium, he lamented how the farmers have been affected. Now they live in their homes without doing anything. And he believed that this could have been the best opportune time for them to go to their farm and also plant the crops, but it is not happening. So indeed, everybody is passionate about today's activities. I saw a lot of old women taking part in the exercise, and shops were closed. Majority of shops are closed, and all in the streets, all that you see are people clad in red and black attire, red cloth, to signify that indeed they are mourning their situation. They are mourning their departed ones who have been killed by suspected nomadic herdsmen.
Right. Many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. That was Insure FM's Ohim Interior, bringing us the very latest on that demonstration, and he tells us that, well, indeed, that very action has ended. The protest has ended. The march has ended, but contrary to information we had earlier, they were unable to present that petition to the appropriate authorities. However, they are still saying that if government fails to act, they are going to act on their own to protect themselves and their interests. But let's now speak to spokesperson for the Agogo Worldwide Citizens Association, Sam Enyan Kusi, on the back, who is currently on the phone lines and is joining me now. Mr. Kusi, good morning. Many thanks for your time on News Desk, sir.
Good morning.
Right.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. So clearly, you seem to have drummed home your point. You have gotten the whole of Ghana to notice your concerns. We have received the complaints, the concerns, but essentially not much is being done up until now anyway. Not much is being done. Now that you've embarked on this protest, I mean, what next?
Today, I think the demonstration went very, very, very excellent. We were able to bring out all the citizens in this town, workers, church members, students, market women, everyone that matters in this town joined in the demonstration. Quite successful, very, very successful, very impressive. And what we expect to do from here, we are going to deliver and present our petition that should go to the president through our district chief executive. So that is the next step. And hopefully this time around, our president is going to listen to the voice of the people of Agogo, innocent citizens who only pray to have a peaceful environment, have their land, and do their work.
When do you want to see something done about this petition of yours, these concerns you are raising once more?
Well, I think one of the messages this demonstration was supposed to send is that we are relentless. We are not going to stop. We are going to pursue all avenues until our demand is met, until the last Fulani and the capital leave our land. We want just a peaceful environment. We want our land. We want to have a peaceful way to live and make a living. That is all we are asking for.
All right. Many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. We'll be touching base with you a bit later on for a lot more subsequently. And that was Sam Enyan Kusi. He is he's a spokesperson for the Agogo Worldwide Citizens Association. He was indeed part of that demonstration you just saw bits and pieces of. We'll be bringing you a much more comprehensive coverage of this in our subsequent bulletins. But before we go for our first break here on Newsdesk, let's head to the courts. And we are told that the High Court in Accra says the state can't go ahead to extradite the British fugitive David McDermott for allegedly smuggling 400 kilograms of cocaine to the United Kingdom. My colleague Raymond Dakwa is at the court and is joining me now over the phone line. So, okay, right. So Raymond's line has just dropped there. We'll be bringing you that very thing that's going on in the courts. Quite a lot going on in the studio right now. But yes, indeed, like I said, we'll be getting in touch with Raymond Akwa to bring us a lot more on that very court case involving David McDermott and the state. We are told that a High Court in Accra says the state can go ahead with the extradition process of British national David McDermott. Also remember that when we come back, we have a lot more stories coming up for you, like that very issue that has been raging in the NPP for some time now. You do know that the suspended national chairman of the party, Mr. Paul Afoko, is challenging his suspension. That decision by the party to dismiss him or to suspend him, he is currently challenging it in the High Court. We'll be bringing you a lot more on that, as well as some more demonstrations ahead, because you are told that several unemployed graduates in the country are planning on embarking on a demonstration, a nationwide demonstration at the end of this month. We'll be bringing you details of those stories plus lots more after this break.